There, crypto traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. It's Sunday, November 30th. Hope you have a great weekend. Still a little under the weather, but we'll get through it as best I can. Feeling a little bit better the last couple of days, so that's good. And this is a rapid fire news update for the period November 22nd to the 28th. Again, it's just a high level overview in case you missed it, and not a deep dive detail or anything like that. Try to cherry pick the most pertinent news pieces, and it was a busy week. So we'll get right to it. Before we do, make sure to smash like. If you're new, you can subscribe. Tick the bell, you'll be notified when I post new content, and I do these videos each and every weekend. Follow us over on X as well, formerly Twitter. The handle for that is @GroupPow. And speaking of X, if you've ever wondered why the crypto industry and the MJ industry have been left in purgatory and decades long of uncertainty and just lack of clarity and regulation, just scroll down on my X profile right here. Probably the best thing you'll ever read today. Does it make sense now? And we talk about how they're using different tactics in crypto and MJ. This will make everything make sense. So if you want to make it make sense, go read that. It'll make sense, but it'll also make your blood boil at the same time. Introducing Grayscale's XRP Trust ETF. So that launched, now trading with 0% fees from Grayscale, the world's largest crypto-focused asset manager. And just tons of data coming in and records being shattered with XRP ETFs. And then Grayscale also launched the first US spot Dogecoin ETF under ticker GDOG. I'm not gonna lie, it does tickle me a little bit because it's pretty funny seeing like a joke and a meme coin in like a traditional ETF wrapper. And then I said that it was going to be abysmal. I was like, the trading volume was going to be absolute dog crap for no pun intended. But Dogecoin ETF logs 1.4 million in debut volume. That pretty was a debut. Nearly 10 times below initial forecast. So I said maybe max 5 million and hit 1.4 million. Like, it was so bad. Way low what I thought it was. Yeah, but so 10 times makes sense. I just can't imagine anybody wanting to take this seriously. I mean, it's one thing to buy it when it was cheap and it started out as a meme. It was cute and everything, but like to bring it into traditional Wall Street in a professional, sophisticated ETF wrapper, if you're buying it, I would very, very much recommend just a cautious approach and make sure you know what you're doing, because yeah, I personally, not financial advice, it's for entertainment purposes only, I would never buy it in a million years. I wouldn't even so much as drop one penny into it. Pretty ridiculous. XRP ETFs pull in 21 million in trading volume in a mere hours. It's crazy, eh? This one was created to basically revamp the financial system and to become the new plumbing. This was created as a joke, and it makes sense as to why 1.4 million in volume for the day and XRP at 21 million in hours. That's because one was a joke, one's changing the world as we know it. Also, Franklin Templeton launched an XRP ETF. So Wall Street's here, folks. And Franklin Templeton says XRP is foundational, right? Not a joke. Not a joke like this one. It's foundational to global finance as its Franklin XRP Trust and XRP-Z ETF goes live today. So this was back on November 24th. Also, Grayscale files with the SEC to launch the first ever Zcash ETF. It's been absolutely exploding lately. And I think it was this one here. Yeah, 21 shares XRP ETF is, let me just bring this up here. I forgot to click the button. 21 shares XRP ETF set to make waves on November 29th, joining heavyweights like Franklin Templeton and Grayscale. So you're seeing more and more. And then CoinShares, they pulled the plug on select crypto ETFs ahead of the U.S. listing, and that had to do with the Solana, XRP, Litecoin. And the reason why they did it is because they're just not seeing a whole lot of, like, there's a lot of saturation. There's not a whole lot of margin in it right now. Well, maybe you should have been one of the first to market. And huge wake up call to BlackRock. What the hell are they doing? Yeah, it's insane how much volume and inflows, and it's something to behold for sure. Shane Ellis theory, we'll talk about that in a moment here, as the supply dwindles on exchanges. And speaking of exchanges, crypto exchange Upbit hit by 36 million Solana exploit on anniversary of its 2019 hack. So not a good look. Hopefully nobody was affected by that, but yeah, you never like to see that. Also, Australia moves to regulate crypto platforms under new consumer protection law as governments around the world and countries around the world really race to this global crypto adoption and race. Also, SpaceX moves 1,163 Bitcoin worth 105 million to a new wallet. Analyst believes it's custody over liquidation. And Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin greenlisted by Abu Dhabi's FSRA for trade and institutional players. Also, Do Kwon says 5-year U.S. sentence is enough as he faces 40 years in South Korea. Well, maybe you shouldn't fraud people, and you wouldn't have to deal with it. Stop being a terrible human, and you won't get terrible things happening to you. Seems pretty simple, doesn't it? Yeah. Create a $40 billion, I think it was a $40 billion Ponzi scheme. Yeah, you should be going to jail. Piece of crap. Ripple engineers explore staking for XRP Ledger as DeFi activity surges beyond expectations. So again, everything's beyond expectations with XRP because it's the best thing. It's the plumbing, right? It's foundational, like Franklin Templeton said. Also, XRP reserves on Binance are plummeting, and it's the lowest level ever. If this trend continues, XRP could move into more structured phase with expanding institutional interest. So again, it's just Shane Ellis theory playing out, folks. And this isn't even all the ETFs yet. BlackRock isn't here yet. Firelight isn't launched yet. And F Assets just starting to go live, locking up XRP and basically dwindling the supply and locking total value lock, right? You lock it up. It's only going to help with the price even more. Supply shortages, etc., right? Just supply and demand 101. Also, CBDC becomes part of Russia's fiscal framework in 2026 as Treasury goes digital. So again, there's going to be some countries who rely on the private sector and stablecoins, and some that like to do their own CBDCs. It's just the fact of the matter. Also, Bitcoin logo appears in a video game from 1991, and this reminded me of whenever Michael Saylor and Scottie Pippen were on stage, and Scottie Pippen's like, "Oh, I met Satoshi back in 1993," and he, instantly, Michael Saylor death stared him, I will kill you. And you do not talk about that. So 1991 and then 1993, interesting. And it also, and they get the eye there, right? Like the Illuminati. And then rocket ship emoji. Seems pretty similar to what we've been dealing with these days, hasn't it? And remember the Matrix, whenever it was, when Neo went to work or whatever for that company, and it was using the X symbol. It was literally the symbol of XRP. So all the world's a stage, certainly seems so. Visa just made stablecoin settlement part of the international banking, and 30% of crypto market makers got wiped out, Mike Novogratz said during the October 10 liquidation event, which was bigger than FTX, the biggest in history. So yeah, as Warren Buffett said, when the tide goes out, you see who's swimming naked and over leveraged and whatnot. So we might not have seen all the worst of it yet. Also, International Monetary Fund, IMF, spotlights XRP to solve cross-border payment inefficiencies. Using the XRP ledger, institutions can move funds almost instantly with minimal cost. Hundreds of millions of dollars for a fraction of a penny? Sound valuable? Yeah, that's pretty damn valuable. Can you buy Bitcoin or Ethereum? Can you buy a cup of coffee and spend less in fees than the cup of coffee costs? Nope. You buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin and Ethereum, costs more in fees than the coffee. So what's the point? So that's just a cup of coffee. Now you can send millions and hundreds of millions of dollars with XRP for a fraction of a penny. Sweet. Sounds pretty valuable to me. Also, CME Group halts trading due to data center cooling issue. So does that sound like a solution for the financial markets for the future? No wonder blockchain and decentralized technologies coming in and not these centralized solutions, right? Is because a data center cooling shut down the whole CME Group futures. It's insane. Oh my God, no wonder it's coming in and ushering in this new financial system and payment rails and just overall decentralized nature of systems. Also, South Africa Central Bank shelves retail CBDC and backs payment upgrades instead. So SARB will focus on wholesale digital currency uses and improve cross-border payments. UK also scraps DeFi capital gains tax on crypto lending. No gain, no loss until sale. Well, that's just common sense, is it not? XRP ETF set to hit $1 billion in their first month. Insane, folks. XRP ETF, first launch, Canary, beat BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF day one volumes. It's insane. It truly is the number one digital currency on the planet, and it will be the number one in terms of market cap when it's all said and done. And Ripple will be the number one company by market cap when it's all said and done. Not to be confused with XRP, the digital currency. Ripple is a private company. NASDAQ pushes for SEC green light on tokenized stocks. So, folks, it's going to happen a lot quicker than you see. than you expect, and that you've been seeing, right? Everybody's saying it's going to be like 5 to 10 years. I think it could even happen next year, where you're going to see everything tokenized and represented from value. And this is pretty scary here. Strategy CEO says Bitcoin sale only if MNAV falls and no capital. So Strategy will only sell Bitcoin if its stock falls below the net asset value and capital is unavailable. The company faces annual dividend obligations of 750 to 800 million tied to preferred shares, and Strategy launched a BTC credit dashboard to reassure investors it can cover dividends even if Bitcoin price drops. So this, I would say, is probably one of the biggest risks to Bitcoin and the crypto sector at large. If this implodes, everything else is going to implode with it, and it could take years, if not decades, to repair the harm that was done. And I pray, for everybody's sake, that they don't end up being sacrificed, right? Sacrificial lamb, if you will. But Michael Saylor was the biggest loser in the .com bubble, and some of the shit that comes out of that guy's mouth, you wonder if he's even, is he even sane? It's just so asinine. Some of the things that come out of his mouth. It's the opposite of logic and common sense, right? And again, we just have to hope for the best, but I've had a bad feeling about it from the get-go, and it continues to just get worse and worse. And usually when my gut says something, it's usually right 99% of the time. So hopefully it's wrong on this one, and they don't implode, because it would have serious ramifications and consequences, and it would hurt a lot of small players and retail investors as well. But we'll just have to play it by ear and hope for the best. All right, going in it there. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's Rod with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you on the next one.